both had to come all the way from Tahoe to see each other. Thank you for allowing me time to speak. I want to say hi to everybody, everybody at the committee, everybody in the United States with this illness and beyond, and especially hello to my friends in the UK and Europe in general. Last time you saw me, I was a lot sicker than this. Quick report card. Since I was last here, I've been back on Ampligen for 7 months, and I'm a lot better. The encephalitic pain is gone, which is the severe pain behind my eyes and the back of my neck. I'm no longer in the wheelchair. I don't need a cane. I can walk up to a mile on flat ground. I don't do so good with stairs or hills yet. And I'm back to working on my book manuscript. However, I don't have any stamina. My VO2 max score is still abysmal. It will improve, but I have to stay on the meds longer. I don't have time for my full testimony. I hope you read it because I poured my soul into it. I need to comment on the issue of insurance testing. As it happens, Cigna made me go through occupational testing back in September of 2001. I thought I was doing pretty well at the time. It was during my 1-year honeymoon when I first went off Ampligen. On the second day, after a couple of hours, I passed out on the floor. The next thing I remember is the test giver kicking me gently with her foot and peering down, saying, "You have to get up now. I have to leave." She ended up calling my husband, who was down the road at the local university, and he drove me and a colleague drove the car. Later, I learned that she had written down, "Patient refused to continue." Now, bad enough that she left me lying there on the floor for hours. Worse, that it was described as that I had quit. I didn't quit. I passed out. There is a difference. And actually, it's kind of dangerous to leave a person in that condition when you don't have anybody with medical training there, and she was the only person in the office. Even more, so first of all, when the insurance companies do this sort of thing, there has to be, you can't let them do things that are dangerous to us. Please, get that word out. Second, disability is a misnomer for us. The word fatigue makes that misnomer worse. We're sick. We're sick. We're ill. We're very, very sick. If this is anything, it's chronic, very, very sick syndrome. The question, is XMRV the cause of CFS, which was the question du jour until today when it wasn't, is the wrong question anyway. First, as many pointed out yesterday, the definition for CFS used by researchers internationally differs so significantly that data sets from one group are completely and wholly incompatible with data sets from another group. The definition used in the United Kingdom by psychiatrists includes anybody with fatigue and does not exclude mental disorders, and actually a recent paper by Peter White and others showed that 40% had major psychiatric diagnoses, major psychiatric illnesses. So a data set of those people is not going to be comparable to a data set that was created by using the Canadian MECFS definition, or a data set created using Dr. Jason's new questionnaires, which are very nice, or by my own doctor, Dr. Peterson. These are incompatible data sets. So CFS has no meaning anymore. If you say, does XMRV cause CFS? Well, which CFS? Which one? Because there's so many contending definitions of it. What I would call it, with my training, is a social construct. It's a moving target. It changes over time. So that's the wrong question. The right question is, does XMRV have an impact on the people with this disease? Now, who are the people with this disease? Well, in the United States, I would start out with the people in the cluster outbreaks. And of all the people in the cluster outbreaks, probably the people in the Tahoe Truckee outbreak are the perfect candidates for fitting the definition of whatever this disease is. As it happens, I didn't go to Nevada till I'd been sick for at least 10 years. But I fit the profile of a Tahoe Truckee patient. I have the same immune markers. I have the same diseases that most of them have. Some have an extra one, some have less. But we all have pretty much the same thing. So when we're talking about research for this disease, we don't have to start from scratch, and we don't even have to start from XMRV. There's good, solid research that was published in peer-reviewed journals that should be funded and continued because it leads to testing, it leads to information, and that leads to treatment. And treatment is what's important. Getting people better is what matters. Now, if you've read this or not, and actually if you know me, you know the litany. If you don't, I'll go through it. I have the RNA cell, when I'm not on meds, I have the RNA cell factor, I have a natural killer cell function of 2%, I have HHV6 variant A because I was in studies with Dr. Ablashi, so I know it's variant A, and that is a vicious disease. I have cytomegalovirus, HHV7, recurring Epstein-Barr, 3 different versions of Coxsackie, and I also have lots of tests that are abnormal, like SPECT scan and things like that. On meds, I'm better, but I don't have normal stamina. I share these markers with other people. We already know this. We can already put together a cluster of people who have the same thing.
If you could wrap up, please, Mary.
So what I'm asking is that you please do that for us, that you go back to the research that was published in the 90s and 2000s in good peer-reviewed journals and then starved for lack of funds, killed because nobody would pay for it to be continued, and go back and look at that again. And we already have a profile. Really quickly, if they looked at AIDS the way they looked at us, they would have said, well, pneumocystic pneumonia doesn't matter because everybody doesn't have it and it doesn't cause AIDS, and Kaposi sarcoma doesn't matter because everybody doesn't have it and it doesn't cause AIDS. That's the way they treat all the biomarkers and diseases we have, and they got to stop doing that. You got to look at the whole thing, the patterns, the correlations, and then you'll understand the disease. Thank you all very much. I appreciate the time to do this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mary.